Hello students, this is Vijayata from Postgraduate Teaching Department of Law, Rashtrasanta Tukdoji Maharaj, Nagpur University. Well, this video is in continuation with the video which I have last posted on United Nations Mechanism on Human Rights. In this video, we will be discussing the Human Rights Council. Well, as I have told you in the last video, that Human Rights Council is an independent body. Human Rights Council adopted its institution building package, which provides a detailed procedural mechanism and structure that forms the basis of its work. This mechanism directly reports to the Human Rights Council. Now, these mechanisms are first, the Universal Periodic Review. The Universal Periodic Review is a unique process which involves the review of human rights record of all the United Nations members states. Next is the Advisory Committee. The Human Rights Council have the Advisory Committee composed of 18 experts, has been established to function as a think tank. So this Advisory Committee is established with the objective to have a think tank for the Council and to work according to their direction. The Advisory Committee replaces the former Subcommission on Promotion and Protection of Human Rights. It meets twice a year for 1 week in February, immediately before the March session of Council, and for 1 week in August. The Council has also established a complaint committee. They have the procedure to address the gross and reliability attested violation of human rights and fundamental freedoms occurring in any part of the world under any circumstances. The complaint procedure addresses the communication submitted by individual group or non-governmental organization claimed to be the victim of human rights violation. Under the Council, this complaint committee has two distinct working groups. First, the working groups on communication, second, working groups on situation. The complaint procedure of the Human Rights Council is universal, addressing all human rights and all fundamental freedoms or fundamental rights against all the United Nations member states. It maintains the confidentiality with a view to enhance the cooperation with the concerned state. According to the Human Rights Council report, up to 15,000 communications are submitted to the complaint procedure. Each year, 90% by individual or group of persons and 10% by NGOs. A complaint procedure starts with the screening of complaints which are done by the chairperson of the working group together with the secretariat. Now this working group on communication have 5 independent experts who are the members of the Human Rights Council Advisory Committee, one from each regional group. Then working group on situation. Working group on situation also have 5 representatives of Human Rights Council member states appointed by each regional group to serve their personal capacity. So these are the Human Rights Council complaint procedure where the complaint can be made by the individual or the group or the NGOs who are the victim of or claim to be the victim of human rights violation. So the Council includes the recommendation to the General Assembly for the development of international human rights and undertaking the Universal Periodic Review of fulfillment of each state of its human rights obligation and commitment. Therefore, the Human Rights Council is a separate entity from the United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, having different mandate works as a part of UN Secretariat and answerable to Secretary General. On other hand, Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights provides technical, substantive and secretariat support to the Council. These are the human rights bodies, which is also known as the United Nations Charter based bodies for human rights. So next is the human right bodies. So human right treaty bodies. These human right treaty bodies are the committee of independent experts that monitor the implementation of core international human right treaties. This includes Human Rights Committee, which you have seen in the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Then Committee on Economic, Social and Cultural Right, which is a part of International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. Then the Committee on Elimination of Racial Discrimination. Then the Committee on Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, which you can see in CEDAW. Then Committee Against Torture. There is also a subcommittee on prevention of torture. Committee on the Rights of Child. Committee on Migrant Worker. Committee on the Rights of Person with Disabilities. And last, Committee on Enforced Disappearance, which is the recent one. The member states of the UN have ratified these treaties. At least one core international human rights treaties, and 80% have ratified. This figure is according to Human Rights High Commissioner. Therefore, the treaty bodies have been put in place to support the state parties who have ratified the treaties in monitoring the implementation of all treaties they have ratified under the international law. The Office of Human Rights High Commissioner assists the treaty bodies in harmonizing their work and reporting requirements through their secretariat. So these are the various committee under various treaties which is based on human rights. With this, the United Nations human right mechanism comes to an end. Thank you.